Okay, hi guys. This is my discussion number 1 video where I am discussing my mini inquiry task. Sorry, I live on an intersection, so y'all will be hearing car noises, unfortunately. So let me see. Talk about each source you collected in your mini inquiry. Why you include each source. So first off, my culture is I'm Mexican, through and through, I believe. My ancestors lived likely in central and southern Mexico, near, like, back then, like, the Aztecs were centered around the Valley of Mexico, where modern day Mexico City is. And, like, there's a little bit of Mayans in there too that live, like, Yucatan, parts of Guatemala and Belize. And then, Spanish colonization from Spain. So I definitely got a little bit of that in there too, most likely. I got that source, like the basic geographical region would be from the National Museum of Anthropology, the Mexico section. How I approached my mini inquiry work and what happened throughout the process. I approached it basically just looking up a basic title, which would be like how did Aztec and Mayan people view diversity, on what was the education and learning looking like, especially for children. And from there I just kept clicking links, just diving deeper in. Questions was like, do any of these practices, are they still taught now? Are there people who still actively like use just that sort of knowledge instead of modern knowledge? It's very likely, because there's plenty of ranchos, pueblos all over Mexico and all over South America that definitely are very traditional. Like, I come from a pretty traditional family, but not that traditional. When, why I got stuck in my inquiry and how I got unstuck. I can't really think of a time where I got stuck. It was quite easy. There's it's very documented. The Aztec and Mayans and the Spanish colonization and all that. It's very well known, very popular. One thing that I'm taking away from the experience about the inquiry process is it definitely has helped me learn what's a good site and what's not a good site to get information from. It really helped me expand my knowledge on how to use search engines besides just clicking the first link that I see. One thing I'm taking away from experience about my own cultural heritage is that it really made me it can help me connect the dots a lot to some of the things that I grew up learning. It's like, oh, that's why we do it, because that's why so many of, for example, my family are we are a generation of farmers. Like, my grandfather was a sugarcane farmer. He's Mexico exported a lot of their sugarcane from our part, and my grandfather was part of that, and now my father and his brothers run the farm and the campos and all that. So it's we really value nature. We really value the world we live in, the land we live on, what we take from it and what we give back. So that was really interesting to see. So some of the sources I used was the World History Encyclopedia, to see how the Aztec and Mayans viewed diversity and inclusion, because it's a reputable source and had lots of information dating back a lot of time. What type of education children received based on their backgrounds, because Aztec and Mayans were very big on classes. So the lower class, middle class, high class, the kings and queens, nobles. So definitely, and then male children often, they got a better education, and then they also learned how to fight. And then women often learn practical skills, how to take care of a home and stuff like that, how to cook, clean, medicine, like that. And I got that information from the Mexican Lore educational website. I saw a couple of journal articles that mentioned the same information about the arrival of the Spanish, how the arrival of the Spaniards changed indigenous views and knowledge and teaching, how we were how they really forced their European teachings on the indigenous people, which is something we've seen a lot in even in our own American culture. Europeans forcing the Native Americans to adopt Christianity and all that. History.com is a website that is reputable, and I was able to like see how the Aztecs and Mayans showed a lot about the environment and the nature and how they're connected to it, and that their gods are responsible for the land that they have. Each of the sources I found to be very clear and concise, and was able to explain the information fairly easily, that I can be able to tell, like, is like easily teachable to other people. That's what I was looking for. Oh, my Microsoft Excel. Oh, it's here. It's this one. It's not Excel, I put it in Word. But here I have, it says here I had to include it, but here I have all my information and my tables, and yeah, it's very interesting. I love learning about my own culture. Thank you for listening.